Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video, let's do a tier list for 1.0 revised for the current meta of the official launch. The last time we did a tier list for this was before the release. Things have changed, and I actually want to just reflect it on the channel as well, a more popular one. I saw this link on Reddit for this tier list post. This is by ProWen. Some of the ratings are very off, but I want to share with you my thoughts as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this snipping tool, and I'll just draw certain commentary. So how they have it ranked is like T0 to T3, I guess. T0 is their best, T3 is the worst. This is for Shi defense, and they split it according to category over here. So let's start things first off with Alan. I think Alan is definitely one of the best characters in the game right now. So I definitely agree with Alan being at the top position at T0. Very strong DPS, gives a lot of mobility. If you played her in the Hollow Zero mode as well, very strong. Definitely in a class of her own. And she is having like one of the strongest teams. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is if you don't play Alan teams, what is going to be your other half? If you are a traditional player, right, you just play the game, you're probably going to think Nekomata or Soldier 11 is going to be your main carry for the second half. That is actually not true. After the game has launched and Disorder has been researched a bit more, and now it's so easy to see that Disorder bar because the enemy bar has that number on the side, that the bar tuner, that once it's full, you can see when you prop the anomaly. There's a massive change. CBT3 didn't have that. I think anomaly characters are very strong right now. These two characters probably deserve a T0 spot, and I have no idea why they're putting them in a T0.5 and T1 tier. If you haven't seen the video on why speedrunners use Piper, do check it out on the channel as well. For the lack of a second DPS like Alan, if you do not have Zhu Yuan, you don't have Alan, this team is way too slept on. They do way too much damage and they are way too OP right now. Check that video out if you're interested. I think it's going to be very interesting. Other than like the anomaly DPSs to go, the only other way that you can actually go is for these two DPSs and these other attack DPSs. In that case, between Nekomata and Soldier 11, I do think that Soldier 11 is a little bit better in terms of absolute DPS, but Nekomata is able to play together with a character, for example, like Piper. So because of Nekomata's synergy with Piper, I actually do think Nekomata should be bumped up to be this tier over here. Not tier 1 because herself on her own just fails to compare with a character like Alan, but because of the synergies with Nekomata able to play with a Piper as well as a Grace team, and even if you don't have Grace, you can play Piper and Lucy together and it will also be super good. So you can play this one with this one here, and in the end you have a very strong team composition going in. So Nekomata, not herself good, I think based on the character alone, Soldier 11 is better than Nekomata, but because Nekomata has better team compositions right now and Soldier 11 does need like Lucy, Collator or Ben to really form a better fire team, since the fire set also scales with burning. So you want to play many fire characters, and we don't have a fire anomaly right now. So Soldier 11 is still, I think, rightfully in T1. I think she should be in T1. Nekomata should go up to T0.5. So those are my thoughts on like the main DPS characters up to here so far. For the other two characters, and I really disagree with like quite a lot, practically only agreeing with 2 out of 5 of them so far, and I already share my thoughts. All the videos I have calculations on the channel already. You can check it out. We even do damage comparisons on under-leveled characters. Some of these online guides, they are very quick to publish tier lists, but I think you need to wait for a couple of while to research a bit, do the mechanics before you actually publish. If they want to work with us, I'm very happy to work with them as well. But let's just continue on here with the other characters in this list, which is the attack-based characters that are 4 stars as well. So 4-star characters, why are they slightly inferior? They do have crit ascent with like crit rate and stuff like that, but still they don't have the stats that their main DPS has. Between the 4 of them, I would say that Corrin has an interesting situation because Corrin can be used together with Piper, and if you are able to form a double anomaly team, you are able to prop Assault very quickly, which allows you to play into other team compositions, for example with Grace. So if Corrin is able to play with Piper, I think Corrin is slightly better than Anton here. Anton anomaly is only if you have Anton and Grace. So if you have their perfect combination of Anton Grace, as well as Piper and Corrin, and you are playing into a somewhat anomaly-based team, I think you can see very good value in them, and they could be bumped up to the same tier as a Soldier 11 team composition even, because of the sheer amount of damage Anomaly does right now in the early game. We're talking about a 1.0 tier list, not a 1.0 6 months into the future how well it scales. This is just talking about how fast you can clear right now with the set characters. I just want to make that huge caveat as well. So if you have a team of Anton, Grace, and another flex DPS, maybe Anbi or something like that, or you have Piper together with Corrin, together with another flex support or stuff like that, or some stunner, I think it's very, very strong, probably very good. Or you can play both of the anomalies together, they'll be like definitely higher. So if you do not have them both, I agree T0 is where they should be placed. If you have them both, I think both of them can be moved up a little bit higher as well. Billy, unfortunately, I think fits rightfully at T3. The only exception is if you are playing him into a hard difficulty that you do not know the enemy at all. I think that no character right now should be ranked as T3 because of Piper is still physical. So I will bring Billy up to T2 when you play with Piper. They are not super synergistic, but Assault is easily proc. So if the enemy is like doing his wombo combo, spinning around in circles, at least BD is able to shoot from afar to help you build up that gauge for your Piper to come on Assault later. So I don't think he's T3, definitely not deserving here. I'll bring him up to T2. Currently, no character deserves like Ireland of Honkai Star Rail status right now. BD is still very, very usable, especially if you play him in the right team combinations like Assault. So we talked about the DPSs. Let's talk about the supportive slash sub DPS roles, which is your stun and your support characters. The easier one to talk about, I think, is your stun and defense. I don't even know why they lump Ben here under the stun category. Maybe they didn't have resources to add in another column. But Ben, I think right now is rightfully at T2. The reason why he is low is not because he sucks, not because he's bad, but it's generally because there's no real need for shielding right now. In the game, there's no character that benefits off like damage protection and stuff like that. Maybe if one day there's more stuff like that, we could see him rise further up. Right now, the main value of him comes with him and Collator. And the problem in pre-launch is that Lucy wasn't known, her kit wasn't fully known. So Ben and Collator generally had a higher rating. But now a lot of people are actually preferring to play Collator and Lucy if they had Collator on the team, because one stun and one support that attack buffs for Soldier 11. This actually decreases Ben's value a lot since the official release, and that is why he's rightfully sitting at T2. Not because he's a bad character by any means, it's just his kit is not appreciated right now in the early games where damage and buffing is much more apparent. So you'll see this as a trend. Characters that help do more damage generally will increase much better. So that's for Ben. For Collator, I think she's rated too low. I think Collator definitely deserves a T0.5. Unbi here, T1, I think is right. She is a decent character, but doesn't offer too much. She doesn't really do like too much stun. A lot of her kit buffs damage, which is not very becoming of a stun character. Whereas Collator and Lycan have more synergistic kit, where as they ascend, they get more impact percentage bonus, or they are able to daze enemies better. So I think Collator is definitely in tier 2. If you are looking for a stun character, I think Lycan is definitely best in slot right now. He's fast, he's mobile, has very little animation lag. So I'll just any lag here. Very low animation lag. Collator does have a bit more animation lag because she needs to hit, spin, and then do that somersault thingy, which takes out a bit more fill time. Which is something. Fill time is always very important, especially you're giving up your other characters like Piper or your Ellen, who could be doing a lot more on fill with that fill time rather than just spinning in the middle of the air. So that's my thoughts. I think Collator here up to here, and Unbi, I agree. Unbi should be at T1. And last but not least, let's talk about the supports. And if any of you who are finding value in this video so far, I'm just sharing my thoughts and process. Like all of us, we always have criticisms. And let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below also, how you feel about it. What do you think is too low? Maybe some of you are some of these mains and you have encounter like certain nuances that I even haven't seen before, because there's so many ways of playing this game. It's not a simple game to play by any means. Let me know in the comments below. But let's talk about the last category, which is supports. Now, I have been a very, very pro advocate of Nicole. I think Nicole is one of the best characters in the game. Out of all of these characters, her CC is the best. She crowd controls enemies and that saves you time. DPS saves you time because you beat down the enemies faster, you are able to kill the enemies. But Nicole offers you crowd control, which none of these other units do. I think she is by far T0 as a character, and we already have compared the damage penetration versus like other stuff, and damage pen is actually, defense shredding is actually major. If you haven't seen that video, it's just the previous one we put out on damage penetration, damage penalty of underleveled characters, especially in this early game of 1.0. A lot of us are going to be fighting the later flaws of Shi defense underleveled, and for that fact, early game, yes, I agree, she's not as impactful because you can probably clear it with levels. But once you hit the higher levels and you want to push into the end game content, Nicole is really super strong. And she procs a lot of corruption also, even without being an anomaly character. So very clear, I think Nicole is definitely a tier 1 DPS. This is way too low. The person that's making this tier list is definitely not playing the game properly at all. She does better with, of course, additional copies, but T0, I think Nicole deserves in rightfully the same spot as well as Sokaku. Sokaku here, on the other hand, I think she's a strong character, a little bit overrated, and she's mainly here because of Ellen. If you do not have Ellen, this character drops massively. If you play with, for example, just Lycan and Sokaku, the main part of why Sokaku is good is not only just the attack buff she provides, but also the ice damage bonus and ice pen she does with with additional copies of her. If you don't have Ellen, overrated. If you have Ellen, yes, she's really very good, but does want a full team of ice to actually start popping off. Otherwise, I do think that she's a little bit niche in her category. Nicole can fit into basically any team. I think she's way more flexible to build as a character, and she is a free base character. Also, you start her off so you can invest in her right from the get-go. You don't have to like wait to clear certain milestones. So in my opinion, I think Nicole is number 1. Sokaku, okay, I can believe she's T0 right now because of Ellen predominance, but once you do not have Ellen, I think she drops to T2. If you have Ellen, she stays here, or T0.5 here. And once Zhu Yuan comes out, Nicole will be like the clear winner without a doubt. The other two characters here, which is Rina as well as Lucy. Now, they are very tricky characters because Lucy is tied to Soldier 11's ranking and tied to a team of Piper. I think Lucy is much stronger if she's played with Piper, as well as Soldier 11 team compositions. A rating of T1 is playing her in an isolated team without such synergies. As such, I think Lucy should be played in a roughly around a T0.5 role. She has a use, she has team compositions that work now, she procs the Cauldron, the Sons of Cauldron comms, and she works well with a DPS that's already very decent. Doesn't deserve a T1 because all of these characters are pretty team specific. So Sokaku specific for a team of Ellen, Lucy a team of Soldier 11 or Piper, Nicole, Zhu Yuan, or pretty much flexible, anyone can be played with her. And the last one I'll talk about is Rina. Rina is in a situation right now that she's not going to be as good as she will be in future. What she needs now is a lightning DPS. Currently in the game, the DPSs, if you notice, is ice, physical, you have fire, and to more physical here. And the only ice DPS is Anton, who is not really the flashiest DPS compared to the other limited 5 stars or the anomaly characters as well. Grace doesn't take up too much field time, doesn't care too much of the pen from Rina as well. She just does a lot on her own. So Rina really is looking for currently a limited 5 star, very strong lightning character, electro character. So I think Rina is probably the least impactful out of all 4 of them in 1.0. Can flip around very quickly because pen is very good. If you haven't seen our video on pen, check out the damage penalty one. Very useful. Again, it's just the previous video just behind this one. But yeah, I think that Rina rightfully here, Lucy should go up. So my final tier list, let's just repeat that for a summary, is going to be in T0 category, we have Ellen. We are going to have the 2 anomaly characters will be in T0. I will have a character like Lycan here. I will have Sokaku if you're playing with Ellen. Nicole is definitely in T0. So that will be my first tier. Second tier, I will have here as Nekomata. I will have no one in second tier for Anomaly. Colada in 0.5. And I will have the other supports like Lucy and Rina, as well as Sokaku without Ellen in tier 2. And tier 0.5 at least. This naming is so weird. Why can't you just make it like a nice number? Tier 1 here, Soldier 11. I think she will fit here nicely. Character, for example, like I believe I mentioned that Anton could come up if Anton is playing together with Grace, Corinne if she was playing together with like Piper and stuff. So these 2 could potentially come up here, but the 3 DPSs all work quite well currently in T1. the most team comp restrictive is of course the 4 stars. They need a specific team to pop off. And we have Ambi here and no character in the T1 spot for your supports. For T2, you have Billy with a team with Piper. You have the other 4-star DPSs. If you don't play Anomaly, you just play like Unga Bunga and Ben in T2. Reasons we explained already. And if you guys found this video helpful, you like this kind of content, do like and subscribe for more such future videos. Again, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. This is not just a one-man narration. I want to hear the community's involvement too. And thank you again so much for watching and see you in the next video.